Hey, this is Rick with Welding Training Solutions. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Are you wanting to improve as a welder? Well, then you're going to need some help. You know, there are those who would say, just keep practicing, you'll get better. No, you actually won't. You see, practice only makes more consistent. It doesn't mean you're going to improve unless you understand why you were doing it the way you're doing it. So it takes more than to know how to do something. You need to understand why. You need to understand the principles behind the practice. In other words, you need to understand the fundamentals of the welding process and what it takes actually to make a good weld. The great coach of the Green Bay Packers back in the 60s and early 70s, Vince Lombardi, there's a great story about him that I love to tell because it really gets to the bottom of this. So the Packers were losing at halftime, and they come into the locker room, and of course, Lombardi, being a very stern coach, stands there with his arms folded and a scowl on his face, and pretty soon he picks up a football and he says, "Gentlemen, it's time to get back to the fundamentals. This is a football." You see, that's what I'm trying to say. They had forgotten the principles behind the practice of football, and so they were simply playing out of passion and not understanding or remembering the fundamentals of why they were doing what they were doing. They went out and finally won the game. Point being, if you don't understand the fundamentals of how something works, you're never going to be able to improve at it. I've been in the welding trade for 55 years, and I've been running a company called Welding Training Solutions for the past 30 years, providing on-site welding training for welding operators all across the United States. And I've learned a few things about what it takes to make a craftsman welder. And that's what I want to pass along to you. My goal right now is basically to pass along my craft to another generation. It's important that we do that. It's important that those of us who have skills and experience that others don't have, that we pass that along and pay it forward, if you will. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this YouTube channel. I've had multiple people across the last number of years, individuals that I've provided training for, and they said, you need to get a YouTube channel so you can help people all across the country. So I'm not an expert. There are no experts, but I have learned a few things. And so I want to pass that along. That's my goal for being here. That's why I'm here. And I'm going to be addressing a lot of different things, misconceptions that I see online all the time and hear others, people ask me, well, I've always heard that, whatever. That's usually a sign to me that, they were told something incorrect. And again, I'm not an expert, but there are fundamentals that you need to understand, and that's what I want to do. My whole purpose of the content on this YouTube channel is to help you understand the fundamentals of why welding works the way that it does and what it takes to make it work. Each welding process is a different set of skills, but the principles are still going to be the same. And so what I'm hoping you'll be doing is you'll be getting on here and chatting with me a little bit and basically giving me your questions, some misconceptions maybe that you've heard that you'd like to explain. Tell me what you want to know about, what you want to understand. I'll be covering all kinds of things from welding safety to the basic fundamentals of each welding process, filler metal selection, all kinds of stuff. And so if there are specific things you want me to cover, please let me know. And I'm really looking forward to passing my craft along, and that's why I'm here. And so I'm excited about this new adventure and hope you get a lot of good out of it. So as I leave you each time, I'll leave you with this simple bit of truth. Focus on the fundamentals. I'll see you next time.